Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. In today's topic, this black medical doctor in America was shown anti-black hatred by this particular Anglo male who wanted a non-black doctor. Mm, mm, mm. There is a century-old anti-blacks in America, bad propaganda that's been going on for centuries, still going on in 2025. And the thing about it is, there is a system of supremacy that is the most awesome mental manipulation force that has ever existed. And it thrives on chaos. And there's a non-small numbers of personnel within various sections of Panama-based culture who still have a vile hatred for numbers of Black Americans for no reason in a collective way. And that's very few exceptions within various sections of Panama-based culture and ones who want to be like certain ones within the Panama-based culture. Before I begin, I did a show which kind of still goes into this particular topic to a certain extent. For anyone that's interested in the description of this show today is a topic that I did that is a major topic, major in various types of main media, and etc., racial racism, terrorist type people, and etc., deflection type personnel who act like there's no racial racism going on. America's still going on. It still is in various sections. I did a topic show called International Tribunal finds U.S. guilty of crimes against humanity. Yes. An international tribunal finds the U.S. was guilty of crimes against humanity. And you had not heard about that too much, have you? Yes, just like this topic today about this black medical doctor in America that was shown anti-blackness, racial racism, terrorism, hatred by this particular Anglo male who wanted a non-black doctor. And the only thing this black medical doctor was doing was he was in the ER and he was going through, I guess, the different notes and etc., different patients. And this particular patient, he was reading the charts. And then all of a sudden, the particular anti-black racial racism, terrorism type guy from within the Panamese culture, this one, he was like, no, I don't think I want, that particular doctor, to, do anything for me. I just don't want a black, doctor touching me. Right. Where are those racial racism terrorist type people in various sections of America, the ones applies to within various parts of Panamanian culture? Where are they on this? Oh, there's no such thing as racism. Black folks always talking about racism. They're always playing the victims and the chaotic hypocrisy of the number one people, the ones applies to collectively, who have been the masters of anti-American black for centuries, got the nerve to present day to sit there and act like racism still don't go on. Numbers of those kind of personnel are very warped and sick. Again, the one this applies to, right? Again, where are those people at that saying, oh my goodness, no such thing as racism? Look at this picture, this image. A Negro medical doctor's hands on me, trying to help me. Nope, only see a nig, male first. But then I like playing the victim also. When my KKK anti-black Americanist is called out, I can't help it. But I play there is no racism card also, and they giggle because they know it's true what they do. Right? But again, where are those people at? Where's that old brown and black coalition? Where is that old yellow and black coalition? Where is that old, you can just insert whatever you want. A term lifestyle category and black, right? Josh and black, right? Native, what we call Native American, whatever that's supposed to mean, and black. Humanity and black. Where are all these various people at, right? Let me sit there and show you what a number of these people be doing. Where's the BPOC movement, what is called Black, Indigenous, and People of Color? Where that group at? Which is an insult to naive black folks who are sitting don't even see how stupid that sounds to be part of some called Black, Indigenous, People of Color. Right? When people of color are considered black, but what does a people of color look like? Right? When you got people that's playing under the banner of people of color. You said this game goes, right? But where are those people at? Right? To keep playing, there's no racism. Again, where are those supposed to be allies for black folks? Let me show you what they're doing. What are they doing? Let me just show you they're doing. Hey, Black Pain, this happening. Hey, we need y'all, some allies here to press upon numbers of political to say, hey, man, they gave the ones who did anti Asian hate crime bill, and they didn't go through commissions and studies. They had to get that happen real fast, even though the number one culture in America for so long has been the number one hated group is not Asians. What kind of nonsense when you say Asian? What is that supposed to mean? Because Asian is a continent with several dozen countries, right? Armenia is considered Asian. Pakistan is considered Asian. Iran is considered Asian. Iraq is considered Asian. You see the game that people love to keep playing on this. That's what they do. So when it comes down to sit there and say, hey, you keep trying to play that, oh my goodness, we're allies to black folks and, brown and black and yellow and black and Jawish and, black and native, native and black and humanity and black and all this kind of stuff like that. Where are y'all at? Where are they at then when it's time to sit there and step up to helping out black folks, sit there and get this anti-black hate crime bill together and done with? This is what they do. Yes. It ain't funny, but it is because that's what numbers of people doing. And unfortunately, millions within American Blackism still don't even see that game tactic. But let me go ahead and play this particular first video from this particular medical doctor. A black medical doctor.
Sure, some of you guys probably believe stuff like this doesn't happen, but let me assure you, this is not the first time. Went to the ER, called in for patients. I had multiple patients, but this was my first one that I was going to see. And when I go to the ER, usually I stop at the nurse's station, look at the chart, kind of go over everything, so I kind of know what I'm dealing with before I even start. This was a younger patient, probably I think he was in his 30s or something like that. I can see him though because I'm really close to the bay. I'm looking at him while I'm looking at the chart, so I guess he notices me watching, and he asked the nurse that's in there, like, hey, is that my doctor? And she told him, yeah, that's Dr. J, he's great. You'll be in good hands. And he was like, oh, no, absolutely not. I can't have any black people touching me. That's Dr. J, he's great. You'll be in good hands. And he was like, oh, no, absolutely not. I can't have any black people touching me. Dr. J, he's great. You'll be in good hands. And he was like, oh, no, absolutely not. I can't have any black people touching me. In good hands. And he was like, oh, no, absolutely not. I can't have any black people touching me. And I smirked because it's not the first time I've heard someone say that. It's been a couple. Absolutely not. I can't have any black people touching me. And I smirked because it's not the first time I've heard someone say in good hands. And he was like, oh, no, absolutely not. I can't have any black people touching me. And I smirk because it's not the first time I've heard someone say that. It's been a couple years, but whatever. If you don't want to see me, I don't care. But she froze. She didn't know what to say. I was like, oh, don't worry. He can see whoever he wants, but I'm the only one that can see you right now. So if you can't see me,
What's the excuse again? Right, from numbers of ones within certain sectors of the plant-based culture, the ones who do the anti Black American hatred and deflection of racism that's still going on in various sectors of America, that's been going on for centuries. Where are those same people at? Where are those anti-hatefulness numbers of ones within the plant-based culture and some of their uh, hench culture ones who want to be like certain ones within the Panamese culture, right? Oh, don't get it confused. It ain't just certain ones within the Panamese culture, the ones who are anti-black. Oh, there are ones who are not necessarily, they slide under people of color, non-black banner. They slide under the general minority banner. There's ones within certain parts turned lifestyle category, right? They have a hatred of Black Americans. Unfortunately, and the crazy irony part, there are certain ones, numbers of people who have the skin of Black. They're not American Black. Again, the ones this applies to, they had a skin of Black, but left their homeland to get away from people that look like them, right? But have the nerve, the one this applies to look down upon Black Americans, and how many could even hold the shoes of Black Americans, what Black Americans have been going through for centuries? The nerve of some people, right? But they still allow neo-colonization in that person's own country. Corruption still going on in that country. Extreme poverty going on that person's country they left from. The nerve of some ones that know who they are, right? See, within various sections of America, they do not like a strong Black American guy. They be like, oh, we don't see this. Black American be like, hey, what's going on, man? What are you talking about? Hey, what's going on? Black American man here. Yes. They don't like that, right? Yes, confident Black American man here. Yeah. What's going on? Yeah. Oh, they don't like that. Let me show you what kind of, see, they like Black Americans. They like Black Americans that look like this or do this. Or look like this, should I say, right? Oh, they like this and look buffoonery and helpless, don't know any better. You know, they get that little lazy, they don't want to do nothing and stuff like that, right? Just be lazy, not do anything. Let me show you even a better one right quick. Wow. That's what they like to see. Even though the majority of Black men in America, I'm not talking about coons and sellouts either. The majority of Black males in America will be considered middle class. Yes. The majority of Black males are not deadbeat. That's a whole different game in itself, right? See, this system within various sections of America, they do not like ones within the Panamese culture, the ones who do this. They do not like strongness. See, one minute it's like, make your mind up. One minute you talking about Black folks are lazy, all right? Even though who are the most number one most laziest people are ones within certain sections of Panamese culture who receive the most welfare, who have gotten the most affirmative action. Yes, it's been numbers of person within the Panamese culture, right? Over generations who have been the number one people who have gotten affirmative action. The number one personnel who have gotten food stamps. The number one person who have benefited off DEI, the one this applies to. Because yes, there has been a small amount within certain parts of predominant culture who don't act like a collective, but that's a small amount. It's a very small amount. And then you got the ones, some other people who are not necessarily under the banner of predominant culture, but they can slide under that banner. You know, well, some people know what I'm talking about, right? You know how some ones got white Hispanicism, you got some white Asianism, are the ones within a certain caste system, right? Whole numbers that can't even stand Afro Asians. Oh, some people don't know. Some people act like there's no such thing as that. Some people act like there's no such thing as Afro Hispanics. Again, I'm not talking about some coons, some some sellouts. I'm not talking about them. But the point I'm getting at, you got people that act like the only type of Hispanics is ones that have an Anglo look. The only type of ones that are we call Asian is one that have a stereotype look. You see this nonsense, right? Let alone when you were told this is what a Native American look like, but you got ones that put a few dollars, ones that come from within certain parts of predominant culture who put a few dollars on a roll, $5 Indians, and so that numbers in them become Native Indians. Either still black natives. Maybe not a lot, but a point, I don't want to go on, that's a whole different topic. But you see these games that go on, right? But they want to keep people, this system want to keep trying to act like black men are lazy. And black male are the most number one hated group in America. For generations, the number one group of males who have been lynched the most. Not numbers of Hispanics, not numbers of castes of Asians, not numbers of we call Native Americans, not numbers of immigrant type groups, not numbers of border illegal immigrant numbers of males, but black Americans. And you got some fools acting like as if black males are the damn problem. The damn nerve of some people. Right? Again, they do not like strong black males. Yeah, strong black male here. What's up? They don't like that. Right? That defeats the messed up mentality. Oh, that's strong black male. They don't like that. So let me go ahead and play this particular second part to this black doctor in America, not lazy, went to medical school, right? No one gave him a damn thing. But how many people from numbers of immigrating this group, how many people from certain type of legal immigrants who have got opportunity through side doors and perpendicular doors and got funding to help them go to medical school, to the ones applies to, right? Oh, they don't want to talk about that. But oh my goodness, DEI, affirmative action toward black males. Get out of here with that. It's an old game, but unfortunately, they know millions of American blacks allow people to keep playing this little idiotic freaking game with very few exceptions. Playing the second one. Here's the second video of the black American non-lazy doctor.
So I had a few people in the comments that either missed the message or plainly didn't want to even see it. Racism happens, and it's not okay, but it's there. And I know that even though some of you guys didn't like my explanation and made some arguments, black people do this, people have the right to choose, goes without saying that people have the right to choose. But when you're choosing strictly based on race because you hate that group, that's a little bit different.
And you see what this black doctor was saying, some of these people, this disgusting, the ones that are like, that will be against the Carmelo Anthony, right, defending himself at that Frisco track meet, and the only thing with their little disgusting mentality is, oh my goodness, what, he bring a knife? He had a legal size damn knife, right? And hopefully they will show the size of that legal size knife. And second of all, regardless, the point is, when Austin Metcalf, who told him to get his little privileged ass hands, right, to sit there, have the racial racism ingrainedness passed down, right? Because he apparently thought he had the privilegedness to tell this black male he should have the right to be under a tent at this track meet that had nothing to do with being on school ground, which if it did, so the hell what? He didn't even go to the damn school, right? But it was off campus. And I think it was relayed that might have been possibly raining, but the point is, other people were also that were able to sit on that tent as well. They didn't sit there and belong to one team or another team. right? But that black male, black teen, Carmelo Anthony, he self-defense. He was doing self-defense, and you got numbers of people within the predominant culture. One is applies to answer ones who want to be like them, right? And even some coon and sell out certain ones that have a skin of black, or the ones who know they are that have the nerve to play they're black when they want to play black, but when it's time to sit there and help out black Americans, they disappear. Those little kind of coward type ones. The point is that no one told Austin Metcalf to put his little privileged ass hands on Carmelo Anthony first. That's assault. But you still got people that want to act like they don't understand that damn concept. And by the way, I didn't put this in the description, but if anyone wants to know, some people don't know, Casey Allison at a Belgian high school, who was about 18, I think 2022, he put his little privileged ass Anglo hands, the one this applies to, at this high school 2022, and they have a trial going on right now. This is 2025, April the 25th, 2025. And so Casey Ellison put his little Anglo little privileged little teen hands on this Hispanic fellow who was about 17, 18 as well at Belton High School. The similarities again, the Anglo teen, he brought a knife to the campus on Belton High School in Texas on campus. He juked a little Hispanic fellow right inside a bathroom. Unfortunately, the Hispanic personnel, was going all over the place outside the bathroom, and he eventually, became deceased. Many people hadn't heard that story, right? But you haven't heard these various people within various sections of Panama-based culture, and the ones who want to be like certain ones within Panama-based culture are some of the coons and sellouts within certain ones within certain parts that have a skin of black, right? But they black when they want to sit there and get some kind of resources, but they play, we know me no black, we of the tribe. Those kind of ones that get quiet. The ones supplies to this particular example for the ones who had not heard about this. So you got this Anglo team, 17, 18, brings a knife to school at Belton High School, 2022, I think it was, jukes up a Hispanic fellow, right? Unfortunately, he lost his life, and most people have not heard a peep out of that story. By ones within sections of the Panama-based culture and various parts of main media have heard that story. And the thing about it, he used the Anglo privileged little teen he used, and numbers of other ones within the Panama-based culture who did this, they claim self-defense for him. You see the hypocrisy of this, right? The hypocrisy. But at the same time, when a black teen, or it could be a black American adult, when he sits there to try to protect himself, he don't have a right to do that. This system wants only weak-minded numbers of black males. They want one they can buck break, right? And like this black dog was talking about, hey man, some of this stuff has happened before. And you have people that was giving excuses, but I bet you they weren't getting no excuses. Why didn't one? Oh, what's going on? Let me finish up.
Just choosing who you feel comfortable with. You're not disliking me because of my intellect or my character. It's based off of my skin color and nothing more. That in itself is racist. The Tuskegee syphilis study, 1932 to 1970, that was when they took 600 black men in Alabama without informing them of their diagnosis and gave them syphilis, provided no treatment even after penicillin became the standard cure in the 1940s. James Marion Sims experimented on enslaved women, 1845 to 1850, and he's called the father of modern gynecology, where he was doing surgical experiments on enslaved black women without anesthesia. 1845 to on enslaved women, 1845 to 1850, experimented on enslaved women, 1845 to
black
1850, women. And he's called the father of modern gynecology, where he was doing surgical experiments on enslaved black women without anesthesia. Because black people felt less pain than white people.
And that still goes on now. And even certain numbers of other groups of people, medical doctors, certain nurses, etc., the one this applies to, right, have the nerve to also have that nonsensical demonic thought pattern, the ones this applies to, that they don't sit there and take black Americans serious, right, about when certain black Americans do go Unfortunately, there's not enough Black American males that go to medical places when things are going on, because it's just one of those kind of things. But the thing about it, at the same time, how many, you get kind of tired if well, certain people, certain medical doctors, certain nurses, etc., the ones that applies to physician assistants, etc., ones that applies to, that don't take Black American men symptoms and thought patterns serious, or again, all those Black folks, they can take more pain, but they don't talk about, numbers of white women, they can take more pain. Numbers of white Hispanics, they can take more pain. Numbers of white Native Americans, they can take more pain. Numbers of white border break illegal immigrant personnel, numbers of white immigrants, etc., they can take more pain. No one else has this type of demonicnism belief against their own people, right?
Henrietta lacked cells without consent, 1951 till now. Henrietta Lacks, she was a Black woman. She was being treated for cervical cancer, and her cells were taken without her consent at Johns Hopkins. Her cells are still known to this day as HeLa cells and became the foundation for numerous medical breakthroughs, yet her family never been compensated. Radiation experiments at the Medical College, the Medical College of Virginia, 1950s to 60s, unwitting Black patients were subjected to high-dose radiation experiments. Fatal consequences, just to test the radiation effects on the human body. So there are plenty of reasons out there why there's a distrust for white physicians when it comes to Black people. But this never happened the other way around. And so oftentimes when Black people state that, they'd rather see their own, that's where it's usually coming from. It has nothing to do with, they hate white people. It's just, there's history there.
And let me just throw some out. It ain't just certain ones within certain parts of the predominant culture. That needs to kind of be changed too. Yes, the predominantness is that hesitation, because there are ones who do not take Black folks serious medical situations and symptoms and pain and different things. Don't take Black folks serious. But how about certain numbers of Hispanics doctors out there, or nurses, or physician assistant? What do you think? That ain't just limited to certain ones within predominant culture. Those are the number one. But how many numbers of it's called certain numbers of Indian doctors or nurses, the ones it applies to? Certain ones where we call certain numbers of certain Asian ones, nurses, or certain doctors, the one this applies to. They sit there and listen to certain ones within the predominant culture because they are trained by overall personnel, those white doctors and white nurses or white physician assistants, the trainers, I'm saying. So they pick up certain negative things from the ones that do this, right? And see, this is why, unfortunately, millions of American Blacks, while still trying to focus on only numbers of bad seed, numbers of Anglo ones, which there's millions of them, millions and millions of bad ones. With very few exceptions, you got these other people from these other groups, and even ones that have the skin of Black, the ones applies to, who can't stand the guts of Black Americans because themselves had to get away from people that look like them in their person's own country. With very few exceptions, right? They don't sit there and mouth off and don't have the nerve to try to disrespect Black Americans, because they know without Black Americans, many wouldn't even be in America. Right? But again, the last thing I sit there and showed you, right? People act like they didn't hear nothing. Once applies to within various parts of Panamanian culture and some other ones. They're like, they see nothing, they hear nothing, and they know nothing. And it's disgusting. But again, when did anti-American Black racial racism, terrorism stop within various parts of America? It never has. But at the same time, how much reparations is given to border break illegal immigrants, helping them out? Numbers of foreign aid going to various countries, helping them out. Numbers of immigrants getting business grants and other type of acumen of resources, helping them out. Right? Resources for other different groups of people. Numbers of people that benefit, numbers of women that benefit off of automatic citizenship, off of Black pain. Right? This popped up in America a generation or two ago, 3 generations ago. And even before that, numbers of one that was here was minuscule. But many people, many numbers of women from various groups and backgrounds benefit off of black pain. Whole different topic that still is not discussed enough. Colored waiting room. I'm almost finished up. I'm gonna play one last particular video clip. Colored waiting room. Private property, no parking. Driving through something, turn around something. Colored waiting room. This one going on just 100 years ago. 2025 right now. That'd have been 1925. This is going on still 80 years ago. This is still going on 60 something years ago. When 1965 Civil Rights Act was supposed to desegregate various public accommodations and however different schools, etc., which still, you still have schools that still, a generation after that, still had a problem with desegregating schools and colleges and etc., the one this applies to. Right? But you got people that have no clue about true Black American history. But we'll try to tell you something about, oh my goodness, Chinese Exclusion Act. Get out of here with that. This was going on after the Chinese Exclusion Act. This is going on after World War I. This is going on after World War II. This is going on after certain numbers of Irish need not apply, right? And the ones that became honorary Anglo people who know who they are, right? People type in the draft riotness of the draft riots, right? I think it was late 1800s when certain numbers of Irish whites, they were mad because numbers of main type personnel within Anglo culture was able to kind of slip past certain getting in war efforts. And so they were mad and they want to take it out on someone. So they took it out on the people that they hated also, which is Black Americans. And number of those demonic ones, they sit there and was trying to burn down a school for Black children. It's called the draft riots. Many people hadn't heard about that. But you got people talking about Irish need not apply. Oh my goodness, look at they did to Irish. Get out of here with that. Right? St. Patrick's Day stuff, right? But they don't tell you what numbers of white Irish have done. And numbers of other groups have done. You see this disgusting tactic. Last thing is, from the greatness of Dr. Amos Wilson, the Black American layman's terms, being able to break it down scholar who is a psychologist, a Black psychologist, he was a professor, one of the colleges or colleges. Let me go ahead and play this particular quick clip.
Confused. In other words, then, the manipulation of history creates real effects in the individual's personality. So it is not an absence of knowledge that's occurring when you and I talk your history. You are put into a state of consciousness, and many of your abilities are wiped out and destroyed as a result thereof. That is why your history is not being taught to you correctly, so that your potential will be forever undeveloped as a people, and you will not challenge those people who rule over you. And even though this world is only ruled over by 10% of its population, the European, the other 90% in order to be ruled over must literally be out of their mind.
And the thing about it is that the history part in America, various ones within the predominate culture do not want Black Americans to know their powerful history, that no one else is comparable to the uniqueness of the Black American. Because most people who, if they had to go through what Black Americans had to go through for centuries, they would be basically destroyed or nearly destroyed. They couldn't handle what Black Americans have constantly been going through for centuries and still get no reparations. Right? Like this particular part too, right? They, especially, I mean, the hatred for Black Americans, it's like when elections come up every 2 years, every 4 years. Black Americans have been the number one whipping boy, whipping girl, scapegoat type of used clothingness, because it's good use clothing, but this is bad clothing, that Black Americans have been used to sit there and vote basically Democrat collectively and still get no reparations and take advantage. Right? Watch this.
So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black, they don't have. So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black, it don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my.
But you're gonna have people that do that. You're gonna have people that act like that didn't happen. They see nothing, they hear nothing, they don't know nothing. They see nothing, they hear nothing, and they don't know nothing. Even though the majority of people that voted, Black American people that voted in the 2024 election, the majority of Black males, the ones who voted for Kamala. They didn't vote for Trumpness. Do you see the audacity of this? The number one males in America in the 2024 election voted for Kamala, not Trump. But at the same darn time, the blaming that Trump got in office is put toward Black American males. Do you see this nonsense? Right? Oh my goodness, Trump, he's doing some doing that. As if this is the only time that's been going on. Things going on. Right? And you had a certain person that people know had 8 years to do something for Black Americans. And then some people know, they said, oh, he didn't do nothing, but they came up with the DACA program and that's helping border break illegal immigrants, basically being used as pawns and using those kids as pawns, and ones that were grown, I think it was like 30, 31 years old at that particular time, unless they have renewed the DACA program. I think the person was able to be 30, 31 years old and get in the DACA program. Deferred action for childhood arrivals. How in the world is a 30-year-old childhood arrival, a 25-year-old childhood arrival? But that was a game in itself that benefited border break illegal immigrants that were sitting there, utilizing children as pawns, and the ones that were grown, they were sitting there utilizing that for benefits. You see this game, right? And Harvard personnel came up with the same socks marriageness, but no reparations for American Blacks. You see that? So it ain't just this Trumpness that they trying to use this person. What happened, say for instance, 2000, what is it? Whatever the next 2026, 2028. What happens then, right? So Trump goes about his own business and the next person comes in, the presidential part. What happens then? What happens after that? What happens after that? And no reparations. What this excuse then?
Now it's time for Lefties Losing It, and to the ladies of The View, the bitter, mean-spirited Delulu ladies of The View, here is Sunny Hostin calling black men, Cuban men who vote for Trump, ridiculous and crazy.
You've got 53% of white women that voted for him in 2020. We've got to reach those women. We've got to reach those ridiculous, crazy black men. That
Cuban men who vote for Trump, ridiculous and crazy.
You've got 53% of white women that voted for him in 2020. We've got to reach those women. We've got to reach those ridiculous, crazy black men that did vote for Trump. We've got to reach those people. We've got to reach the Cuban men in Miami that overwhelmingly voted for Trump.
But you see this ignorance on this. How many white Cubans are in America? Minute. And the person that was, they're saying this at the beginning right here, they know what the hell he was talking about, right? Because there's not nothing to do with Cuban people. Right? Where did Sunny Hostin sit there and call Cuban people stupid? She did not. Let's see what she said again.
Ridiculous and
women. We've got to reach those ridiculous, crazy black men that did vote for Trump. We've got to reach those people. We've got to reach the Cuban men in Miami that overwhelmingly voted for Trump.
Did she call those Cuban white men stupid and crazy? No. Right? You see, The black males are again the most hated males within Americanism. You know, there's no comparison to black males in the centuries of powerful black history. And this system, again, does not want black Americans, especially black American males, to sit there and know that history. Not a few numbers of black Americans, but millions of black Americans to know that history, not to allow people to think that black men look like this. Right? There's definitely a sinister plan to sit there and symbolically, and some other times, maybe literally, they want to castrate black males. They want to they want to have more black males on an endangered list, black American males. Right? And it is definitely at an epidemic level. And unfortunately, if more numbers of black American males do not sit there and understand what is happening even more now, not just a few, it's going to only be half a generation to one generation left before the complete destruction of the overall black American male. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show. Mm, mm, mm. What was this last thing? There was something else I wanted to show on this. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go?
Last year we sat in, what did we get? We crawled in, what did we get? We even marched in, and what did we get? So 1964 threatens to be a very explosive year.
A firebomb was tossed into the home of Malcolm X here in New York City early this morning.
I wanted you to know that my house was bombed.
Are you inferring then that because of this conspiracy, the attempt was made upon your life?
The attempt was made upon my life because I speak my mind and I know too much, and they know that I will speak it whether they like it or not.
Again, I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show.